My name is Robert John Wenman. I live in southwestern Ontario, and I would like to speak to you on the proposed Bill S-202 to ban what is labeled as LGBTQ conversion therapy. I am a man who lived as a woman from 1994 until 2012 and refute the implication that all LGBTQ people are becoming emotionally scarred after undergoing conversion therapy. I speak from personal life experience, countering to the assumption that all LGBTQ persons' emotional problems stem from a hateful, intolerant society. This is simply not the case, as I voluntarily went to a fundamental Bible-believing church, which I believe saved my life. I fear if this bill is passed, it will prevent LGBTQ people who are struggling with mental health issues from getting much needed help. I've also heard the witness of many others having similar experiences. I must emphasize, I'm not stating that there is any miracle cure for LGBTQ identified people. A true believer knows belief and faith cannot be forced. Earlier in my life, I came to believe that pursuing a change of gender would be the fix-all solution for my lifelong, deep-rooted emotional problems and inferiority complexes. In 1997, I had successful sex reassignment surgery and was legally recognized as a woman. I anticipated a new life happily ever after. Right after the surgery, though, I perceived that I had truly completed my gender change journey and believed that I had closed a chapter on my life and resolved all my past emotional issues. Unfortunately, my post-gender reassignment euphoria collapsed and faded. All my inescapable emotional burdens were returning with increasing intensity. I was now in deep depression and searching for help, as my complete gender transition had left me emotionally paralyzed in a prison of fear with shame and guilt. Professional medical counseling did not help alleviate my severe emotional anxiety that was crippling my life. In truth, my sex reassignment surgery only made my emotional problems worse. I remember going to my family doctor and bursting into tears, coming to realize my gender transition was a failure. I was given antidepressant medication and recommended for counseling. Unfortunately, mental health counseling was of no help. In fact, I found myself educating the counselors. I was in a very dark place, questioning how to continue living with this agony, and even contemplating death to ease the pain. Then I began to reflect on the old saying, "Let your conscience be your guide." I began to understand through self-reflection that my emotional turmoil was the byproduct of being in spiritual warfare. Despite sex reassignment surgery and having attained full legal recognition as a woman, I was learning the hard way the consequences of not living in truth. There was spiritual warfare against my unrealized spiritual identity that had ripple effects affecting not only myself, but family, friends, acquaintances, and society who were being forced to accept something factually untrue. My eyes were open to the fact my birth gender was a blessing and not a mistake. I was being convicted in my conscience and soul that having a woman's name and identity was false, despite hormones, surgery, and legal recognition. To live as a woman were but a vain attempt to remanufacture my creation, like the clay dictating to the potter. God's Holy Spirit of truth was opening my eyes and softening my heart to absolute truth. I became convicted that I must live in truth, and therefore changed all my identity back to my given male birth name. I have learned to be thankful for who I am and what I have, including my birth, sex, and for God's many blessings in my life. I am very concerned with the increasing numbers of young people intending to change gender, as my own gender confusion had begun at an early age back in the 1960s, along with my childhood feelings of awkwardness, shyness, and inferiority complexes. Although I have no medical training, looking back now on my life and understanding myself much better today, I believe that I actually suffered with undiagnosed Asperger's syndrome, which led to my gender identity confusion. I appeal to your conscience to please consider the implications of passing a bill based on political correctness and not properly investigating the truth. Now, I must emphasize, we must speak the truth with love and compassion, and always respecting one's dignity. We must have truth even when it hurts. Dear Senators, please vote against Bill S-202 to ban therapy for unwanted gender identity confusion. I sincerely hope that the sharing of my own personal experiences will help you to make the very best decisions for Canadians struggling with gender confusion. I thank you for allowing me to tell you my story.